Alright guys, today I wanted to make a video about why do Manchester United keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again. This has been going on for nearly a decade now. I'm not a Manchester United fan, so I'm not too bothered by it. I don't know why I sound like I'm bothered by it. But yeah, it just keeps happening. And with what's happened over the weekend with the result at home to Brighton and also the rumoured transfers coming in of Adrian Rabiot and Marco Arnautovic, it just looks like it's going to be continued. And I can see why Man United fans have already lost hope 90 minutes into the new season. Um, we'll start off with the transfers. I think that's the main thing because Brighton are a decent side. You can have an off game against Brighton. They're a good side. But the transfers, Marco Arnautovic, right? This is a guy who's in his 30s now, who is past his best, who is a talented footballer, but throughout his career has proven time and time and time again that he's not the sort of player you want in the dressing room. He's not someone who's going to bring positive energy, who is going to, not cause any problems, who is going to do everything that is asked of him. And that's why he has never fulfilled the potential that he had at the start of his career when he was at Inter Milan, I think it was, and why his best years were spent at Stoke City and West Ham United, which, I mean, they're not two bad sides. They're both in the Premier League at the time he was playing for them. But he could have done much better with the ability he had. He's now in his 30s. He's had a decent time at Bologna in Serie A, but he's still not the player you want to sign. Like, if United sign Arnautovic, this is a worse version of when they signed Cavani, of when they re-signed Ronaldo, of when they've signed Radamel Falcao. All these players that are just like not options for the future. They're players who are signed for the present, and you will only get 2 or 3 absolute maximum good seasons out of them. Add Zlatan Ibrahimovic to that list. Like, there's been so many times that Man United have done this. Odion Ighalo as well. It's getting to the point where it's just ridiculous now for Man United. And they keep doing it. The other transfer, Adrian Rabiot. Rabiot, again, he's a good player. He's in the French team for a reason. He's got ability and he's not a bad player. But he's not someone who's going to transform your midfield. He's not someone who, again, you want in the dressing room. I don't think it's even him. I think it's the fact that he lets his mum have a say in everything, which is the most stupid thing I think I've ever said in a video. Why at the age, like, he's not a young player anymore. He's in his mid to late 20s by now, surely. He's been around top teams like PSG and Juventus, but again, he's never really hit the heights of being a top midfielder. For me, I've always seen him as he's a good squad player for a top team, but he's not the sort of player you want to bring in and throw him straight in your starting 11 as like one of the key players. And yeah, just the problems he would bring, similar to Arnautovic, with attitude problems, whether it be him or his mum. Again, I still can't believe I'm actually saying that. Why, as like a 26, 27, 28-year-old midfielder, would you be letting your mum have a say in everything? It just seems bonkers to me. And then obviously we got over the weekend the results, lost at home to Brighton, right? Now, obviously United lost 4-0 to Brighton in May, I think it was, and that was obviously a shocking result. Yesterday, the first half was poor from United. Let's get that out of the way. They were shocking. Second half, there was an improvement. but that I wouldn't be too worried about the game yesterday if I'm a United fan, because I feel the reason the game was lost was because Brighton are a good side. Let's get that out of the way, but also because the setup wasn't right. There, Eriksen and Fernandes, there was absolutely no one down the middle like who has any sort of physical presence in the first half, or who is a prolific goal scorer. And that was clearly needed yesterday. And as soon as Ronaldo came on, things started to change, and that's why United were the dominant side in the second half. So they do need a striker playing, that much is very clear. And if they aren't going to use Ronaldo, they need more than Anthony Martial, who is currently injured. They need another option, because even though Martial's looked good in pre-season, you can't. He's shown over the past two years now that you can't rely on him as your only centre forward. You need someone else. So they do need to sign a centre forward, and they need to sort this Ronaldo problem out as well, because he's United fans aren't going to like me saying it, but he's not the player he used to be. He's not the player in the 2008 season who scored 40 plus goals in one season and won the Ballon d'Or. He's not that player anymore. He is a player who is lazy, who is still a very good poacher, a very good finisher, and will probably score you 15 to 20 goals a season if you play him most games. But he takes a lot away from the United system. So they need just someone who is a modern day striker, who is going to work off the ball, who is going to be in the right places at the right time to score goals, who is going to work for his team, who is going to link up with the players around him. Which I'm not saying Ronaldo doesn't do that, but it's mainly with Ronaldo, it's the off the ball work, it's the it's just the no pressing to win the ball back when the team have lost it or anything like that. And his long distance shooting over the past few years has declined massively for some reason, which is quite unusual, because that's one of the only things that players as they get older tend to maintain, which I find a bit weird with Ronaldo, to be honest. Like his free kick goal rate over the past few years has been shocking compared to what it used to be 5-6 years ago. So yeah, they need to sort that out as well. There's just so many things that are wrong, and I think one of the things is when managers are brought into a new club, to me it seems like Ten Hag's sort of like got the players he's wanted to bring in, which is all, yeah, that's good. Managers want to, have their say on what they want in the squad. But there doesn't seem to be any control from the people above Ten Hag on there is control on how much he can spend, but there's no control on what type of players should we be spending the money on. Like I thought of a good example of this. I remember a few years ago, early in Jurgen Klopp's reign as Liverpool manager, Liverpool really wanted to sign a player from, I think he was playing for Bayer Leverkusen at the time. He's since joined Dortmund, I think, called Julian Brandt, who was a very good up-and-coming young German footballer and had a lot of ability. And Jurgen Klopp really wanted him. But instead, the people higher up in terms of like the board level, I think Michael Edwards mainly, wanted Mohamed Salah instead. So they went for Mohamed Salah instead. They signed him. He's been a massive success at Liverpool. And Jurgen Klopp, that wasn't the player that Jurgen Klopp wanted. We're not seeing this at all at United. We only see a manager get given a certain budget, and then it sort of seems to be do whatever you want with this budget. It doesn't seem to be who can we, who can the board sort of suggest. Instead, there's that's what comes across. That obviously might not be the case, because no football fans are actually in the board meetings, believe it or not. But that seems to be what happens at Manchester United, and is part of the many problems that they currently have as a football club. And I'll be honest, I can't see it changing anytime soon unless there is a massive change from top to bottom, to be honest. I think Ten Hag's a good manager, but it just doesn't seem to be likely to happen, to be honest. So yeah, I can't see much changing.